Hello from Scotland. This week we have been to Edinburgh, we've gone to the William Wallace Monument, we've gone to the Glencoe Mountain Ranges and Fort Augustus, Loch Ness Clansman Centre, we've seen the Island Donan Castle, the Sligachan River, Portree, the Isle of Skye, Kilt Rock, Invermarston, Culloden Battlefields, Pitrochie, Dunkeld, Royal Mile, Glasgow, Grassmarket, Arthur's Seat. We drove a panda to Balloch, we went to Loch Lomond, we went to Belmahar, we went to the Rovers Inn, we went to Dumbarton Castle, we went to Buchanan Castle, we went to Stirling Castle, and we went to Stirling Bridge. And here's Lyle to tell you all about it.
Wow, how crazy is that? I can't believe we did all that. It's amazing. But one of the things we went to was a place in Augustus, Port Augustus in the Scottish Highlands. It was a place called the Clansman Centre. And I actually got the opportunity to wear the very kilt that Mel Gibson wore in Braveheart, if you've ever seen that movie. But I actually felt quite privileged. It was an awesome thing to do.
And
but what I had to do in order to do that was get in my jocks and show off my butt to everyone in the whole room. It was funny. It was embarrassing too, but yeah. So yeah. So after I put the kilt on, I actually did a little dance around the room and yeah. Just shook my tush a bit, and yeah, it was fun. It was good. Everyone had a laugh. I had laughs. So it was a great time. It was awesome. Loved it.
Hello there. Following this, we went to Edinburgh, and we soon realised on a day tour there that Scotland actually have the opportunity to vote for independence soon. And I kind of thought that was a pretty exciting thing for them, since it's something that they've wanted for a long time. But it seems pretty divided. It seems like it's almost 50-50. But apparently some of the powers that be are really pushing for independence and have even allowed 16-year-olds to vote, to push the vote more that way. So young people have really kind of been, watching their Braveheart movies, get really pumped and be like, yeah, let's get independent. So, but economically, I don't know if it's going to make sense for them. But it's interesting times for Scotland. And personally, I'd like to, live in a day and age where they could be an independent country and you could see them on the map. Because before we did this holiday, I couldn't find them on the map. It's under the UK, suburb of UK, Scotland. Anyway,
Yeah, crazy.
I don't know what it's like to live there. I don't know the real full story there, but I'm interested to see how it turns out. Speaking of Scotland, while we're there, we've seen something pretty awesome actually just in this last week. We've seen Scotland's first Wimbledon champion, Murray. So Andy Murray took it home. Yeah. So we're pretty happy for him and pretty happy for Scotland. Apparently he's been in a bit of trouble in the media for saying a few pro-Scottish, anti-English things. I wonder if his influence holds any stead for what Scotland chooses. I'm not sure how big tennis is in Scotland. But yeah, good times. Very good times living in Scotland. Memorable.
Hello again. So we went to Edinburgh, and when we left Edinburgh, we hired a car from the airport, and it was a wee little panda car, little Fiat Panda. It was awesome. It was great to drive again. Actually, it had been a while since I've driven. It was a lot of fun.
Lyle's new girlfriend, Panda.
Yeah. It was cool. I loved it.
Yeah. So while we were in the Panda car, we had a lovely first day in the Panda car. The second day, Lyle was having a day at home, and me and Kyle were going to take a day just to cruise and see the loch and go down Loch Lomond and cruise around. Just have a really relaxing day. When you get so relaxed you can hardly hear what people are saying. You're going to have one of those really relaxing days. But then, we went to get the keys, and Lyle comes in. I'm really sorry, guys. I think my keys went through the washing machine. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. It's a rental car. He's like, I wish I was joking.
I really
the
do.
keys are in my pockets, which are getting washed right now. 3 hours ago, we sent it to the guy to wash at the B&B we're staying at.
In the meantime, I was stressing out like crazy.
He was a little worried. So worried he stayed in his room and wouldn't talk to us. But we went out, we had a walk around, it was fine. Like, we made the most of it. It was still a good day. When we got the car keys back, went for a bit of a drive, and we saw a bit of Loch Lomond a bit further down. We actually went to an old derelict castle, Buchanan Castle, which for me holds a lot of interest in its history. So we went to Buchanan Castle, and we didn't actually know it was a derelict castle until we got there. You're not allowed to go in; it's blocked off. But actually became one of the most exciting parts of the trip because we kind of snuck in. We had to go into basically a Scottish mansion beyond that and trespass to get into this castle. Then when we did get in there, it felt pretty risky to be in there. I sat down on part of the walls as we kind of went in there, and we climbed up stairs that looked like they were going to fall apart as we went off there. When we eventually got to the top, I sat down, and a bit of actually the castle fell off under my little bottom.
Little bottom. Okay.
And there's like a rainforest side of castle. You had trees growing inside it and stuff. It was the most amazing thing I've actually ever seen, and it was the best castle we've seen. We paid money to see proper fortified castles which have been maintained and kept up through hundreds of years to thousands of years. But this one actually had a lot of character. It got burnt down, I think, in 1851. It was rebuilt in the 1900s, and then in the 1950s in World War II, I think it was used as a hospital. It's got a lot of history there, and it had a really nice feel to it. So we ran around and went pretty crazy in there, and got out of there without being taken away by the police, and without dying, which is kind of pretty cool. So yeah, that was Buchanan Castle.
Yeah, so we actually done that eventually after I got the keys back. So I was quite happy that we got keys back. Yes. Darren was very happy, and so was Kaya. So we went to a place called Drover's Inn, and they have all these really crazy animals there, like stuffed animals, and there's actually a haggis there. I never actually knew they were actually a real thing.
I didn't know either.
See, if you can see that, can you see it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's a haggis. I actually never knew they existed. It was quite amazing.
I've heard they're closely related to the drop bear.
Yes, that's a true story, apparently. Anyway, I actually ate haggis.
He ate a haggis.
A real haggis.
Wow, it was so tasty. I loved it. Loved every bit of it. It was. I was expecting it to be really gross, but it was actually really nice. Yeah, it was awesome. Really, really loved it. So, anyway, I'm going to pass on to Kaya.
Hey, speaking of haggis, I'm going to talk a bit about our haggis tour that we did. It was really, really fun. If anybody comes to Scotland, I would recommend this tour, but ask for Kay. She was amazing. That was our tour guide, and she was so much fun. Kay, she was great. And she, we had a bit of bad weather, a bit of bad luck while we were on the tour, but it was fine because Kay told us that it's not raining, it's fine, it's liquid sunshine. And it's not overcast, don't worry, it's atmospheric. It was perfect. It made, it just made the day, it was great. And she said, look out, you are going to feel a little bit of DSL while you're here. Which is deep Scottish love. So yeah, those were Kay's little terms, and they were great. We had a great time, we met a whole lot of new friends, we played some drinking games, we stayed up way too late every night.
Oh, best time ever.
We had kilt parties, everyone was dressed up in kilts, going crazy. We were dancing and drinking, and oh my god, it was crazy. But the only downfall was my hangover the next day.
Yes,
Worst hangover ever. And a bus trip too, so that made it even worse. But yeah, it was okay though, because our amazing tour guide Kay had the perfect hangover remedy for us. She took us to a place called the Sligachan River, where there's a local myth that if you put your head in the water and hold it in there for 7 seconds, and you come out and you'll be beautiful. It's so how do I look? Do I look alright? Yeah. Alright, good. So I stuck my head in the water, and while I was in there I had a bit of a drink of the fresh water, and it was amazing. It was so fresh, and it was pretty much, my hangover was gone. It was fine. That and some iron brew. Iron brew is like Scotland's soft drink. I don't know, it was a bit weird. It was kind of like creamy soda, but apparently it's just pretty much sugar and sugar and sugar. And it's the best hangover cure ever, apparently.
It's more popular than Coca-Cola in Scotland. More popular than Coca-Cola. unbelievable. But yes, mythology is very big in Scotland. And when I came out of the water to beautify myself, I came back out, and the tour guide straight away said, "Get back in there." So apparently I need some more time in that river. The other thing that's big in mythology are giants. You might recognise we spoke about Finn McCool last week in Ireland. It was very interesting to come to Scotland and realise that they've got exactly the same story but told the opposite way. So if you go back to Northern Ireland video, I'll talk a bit about that. I've talked a bit about that. And just imagine the same story but the names changed around. So Scotland was the good guy, Ireland was the bad guy. Very interesting. So this giant, I was hoping he was real actually, because we went to Glasgow and we spent approximately 2.5 hours in Glasgow. We went to stay and spend some time there. And people that know me might know that I'm not the biggest fan of Robbie Williams. Just not my thing. Now, if there's any chance of me being a fan, I fucking hate him now. Because we got there and we could not get accommodation because we went to the hostel and Robbie Williams was playing a gig in Glasgow and all the accommodation was booked out. All the hotels, all the hostels. Literally, there was no accommodation in the town and we got sent out of town. After getting some great pizza and beer, which was fantastic, but we got sent out of the town because Robbie Williams was playing. So Robbie Williams kicked me out of Glasgow, basically.
Damn,
and I wish I had a giant with me to smash him.
I hate you, Robbie Williams. Damn.
So if I could ever find this giant, Finn McCool or his brother in Scotland, I would get them to belt the absolute shit out of Robbie Williams and make me the better man.
Yeah.
So that's my experience in Glasgow. We hope to go back there in November and tell you a bit more about the actual place.
Yes, we do. But one thing I can tell you is the, I suppose you call it Indigenous language, to say. Like, the Irish have their Gaelic, the Scottish have their Gaelic. And they're very, very similar. But there's a few little differences here and there. So instead of saying sluncher, tonight we are going to say slunchava.
Slunchava!
Damn you, Robbie Williams!